Welcome to Private Stories, where people discover who they really are. My name is Daniel Mercer and I am 37 years old. Half a year ago, I would have told anyone who asked that my life was stable. Not dazzling, not miserable, just steady in a way that felt dependable. I worked as a senior financial analyst at a consulting firm in Chicago, the kind of job where nothing dramatic ever happened but everything important depended on quiet precision. My apartment sat on the 19th floor overlooking the lake. 2 bedrooms, neutral tones, everything aligned and orderly. Every Sunday evening my budgeting software recalculated forecasts automatically, numbers settling into clean columns that reassured me the future was predictable. As long as the figures balanced, I felt like my life did too. At the center of that life was my girlfriend of nearly 9 years, Alexandra Pierce. Alexandra was the kind of woman who did not need to speak loudly to command attention. She had long auburn hair that caught the light like polished copper, sharp cheekbones, and striking green eyes that could look warm one moment and unreadable the next. She worked in corporate communications, shaping narratives for companies that wanted to appear polished and untouchable. We met at a mutual friend's engagement party, both of us hiding near the drinks table, exchanging sarcastic commentary about how no one actually enjoyed small talk. Her laugh had been low and genuine, the kind that made you feel chosen. Weeks turned into months, months into years, until it was impossible to remember a version of life that did not include her. 4 years into our relationship, she moved into my apartment temporarily after her building flooded. Her suitcase stayed. Her perfume settled into the air like it had always belonged there. Her tailored coats appeared in my closet beside my practical jackets, transforming the space without asking permission. Temporary quietly became permanent. Her family welcomed me with open arms. Or so I believed. Her mother, Margaret, always greeted me with warm hugs and compliments about how dependable I was. Her father, Leonard, a tall man with iron-gray hair and a commanding voice, once clapped me on the back and said, "You are exactly the kind of man who will keep her grounded." Her younger sister Chloe followed my social media and commented under my cooking posts as if I were already part of the family. They invited me to Thanksgiving dinners, summer barbecues, holiday gatherings. One New Year's Eve, Margaret squeezed my hand while we stood in the kitchen and said, "You are basically our son already." I believed her completely. So when Alexandra's parents announced they wanted to celebrate their 40th anniversary with a family trip to Maui and insisted I come along, it felt like confirmation that I truly belonged. For 4 months, the trip dominated our lives. Group messages about snorkeling excursions. Links to beachfront rental houses with glass walls and infinity pools spilling toward the ocean. Jokes about sunscreen, cocktails, and who would fall asleep first on the sand. I rearranged deadlines at work, declined meetings, cleared my schedule completely. This was supposed to be a shared experience. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, 2 days before departure, my phone vibrated with Alexandra's name. I smiled automatically as I opened it. The smile vanished instantly. "Daniel, quick update about Maui." My stomach tightened. "What kind of update?" Her response appeared. "My parents think it would be better if it is just immediate family this time. They want something calm and drama-free. You understand, right?" I stared at the screen waiting for the punchline. None came. I typed a reply, erased it, tried again, erased that too. Finally I wrote, "Drama-free. What drama?" The typing indicator flickered on and off several times. "You know how you and my dad disagreed about the housing policy thing last month," she wrote. "He is still sensitive about it. Mom thinks it is best to keep things simple." That disagreement had been polite, brief, almost forgettable. No raised voices, no hostility, just 2 adults with different opinions. We had ended it by passing the salad bowl and changing the subject. "Alexandra, we planned this together," I replied. "I already took the week off." "I know," she said, "but it is their trip, their house. I cannot really argue with them. We will do something later, just us." Just us. The same phrase she always used when my family was excluded from holidays. So you are going without me, I typed. It is only a week, Daniel. Please do not make it into something bigger than it is. I sat down slowly, phone heavy in my hand. Inside my chest something shifted. Not explosive, just a quiet realization settling into place. Understood, I wrote. Thanks for letting me know. Love you. The words felt automatic, hollow. She replied with a heart emoji. I did not respond. What Alexandra did not know was that 3 weeks earlier I had seen something that changed everything. Her laptop had been left open on the dining table installing updates. Mine was unavailable. I needed to print a document quickly and used hers without thinking. As the printer warmed up, a message notification slid across the screen. Family Circle. My name was visible in the preview. I hesitated only a second before clicking. It was not an extended family chat. There were only 4 people. Margaret, Leonard, Chloe, Alexandra. I scrolled upward. With every line my hands grew colder. Margaret asked whether I would be attending Easter. Alexandra replied, unfortunately yes. He has been overly clingy about family lately. Leonard wrote, seat him at the far end, he never stops talking. Chloe added, why are you even still dating him? Alexandra responded, because he is stable. He takes care of everything. Bills, planning, adult responsibilities. It is convenient. Chloe replied, that is honestly sad. Alexandra answered, it is what it is. Not everyone ends up with passion. My chest tightened so sharply it felt hard to breathe. But I kept scrolling. Jokes about my spreadsheets. Comments about how controlling I was with meal planning. Mockery about how upset I got when no one acknowledged my birthday. They had remembered. They simply chose not to say anything. Leonard called me weak. Margaret wrote that I was not the type of man she had imagined for her daughter. Alexandra reacted with laughter. Then I saw the message that lodged in my mind like a splinter. Sometimes I look at him and feel absolutely nothing. Like I am living with a roommate I happen to share finances with. I began taking screenshots one after another, methodical despite the shaking in my hands. Evidence of a reality I had never agreed to. I did not confront her. Not yet. I saved the files deep inside a folder with a bland name no one would ever open. Then I waited. If this was who she truly was behind closed doors, the truth would surface eventually. Her message about the drama-free trip felt like confirmation. That evening she came home glowing with excitement, talking about packing swimsuits, sunset dinners, ocean views. You are not upset, right? She asked while folding dresses on the bed. About what? The lie tasted bitter. Good, she said, visibly relieved. Mom already thinks you are too sensitive sometimes. She zipped her suitcase closed with a sharp final sound. Friday morning her flight left at 10. She woke early, humming softly, chatting about snorkeling and island tours as if I had never been meant to be part of it. I helped carry her suitcase downstairs. I will miss you, she said, kissing my cheek lightly. Felt routine, like checking a box. Have fun, I replied. I will text you when we land. Sure. I watched the car disappear into traffic. Then I went back upstairs. Locked the door. Opened my laptop. Leonard's email address was easy to find in an old thread. I clicked reply and erased the previous text. Subject: you should read this before your vacation. Leonard, I wrote. I believe you deserve to know what has been said about you and about me. I discovered these messages accidentally. I am sending them so you can decide for yourself before spending time together. I attached every screenshot. 44 images. Then I sent the same message to Margaret and Chloe. When Alexandra's plane landed, my phone buzzed with a photo of the ocean stretching endlessly beneath the wing. Made it, she wrote. It is beautiful already. I did not answer. At 4:20 my phone lit up with Leonard calling. I let it ring. Then Margaret. Then Chloe. Ignored. At 4:42 Alexandra called. I answered. What did you do? Her voice demanded, shaking with anger. Behind her I could hear shouting, overlapping voices, chaos echoing through an airport terminal. I leaned back slowly, feeling an unfamiliar calm settle over me. I sent them what you said, I replied. Nothing more. And somewhere on the other end of the line, the promise of a peaceful family vacation began to collapse. What did you do? Her voice repeated, sharper now, trembling not with hurt but with fury. The kind of fury that comes when control slips through your fingers. I could hear chaos behind her, suitcases rolling across tile, someone shouting, a woman crying, airport announcements echoing overhead. Public places amplify everything, turning private disasters into performances. I forwarded some screenshots, I said calmly. That is all. You went through my private messages. A notification popped up on your screen. I read what was there. Then I saved it. Daniel, what is wrong with you? I leaned my head back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. You talked about me for months. I said nothing. But sure, let us pretend I am the problem. You are the problem, she snapped. You just destroyed this entire trip. We cannot even leave the airport because everyone is fighting. Sounds dramatic, I said. This is not funny. You are right, I answered quietly. It is not. In the background, Leonard's voice boomed, muffled but unmistakable. Something about betrayal. Something about embarrassment. Alexandra must have stepped away because the noise dimmed. You had no right, she said finally, voice tight. I had every right. You are my partner. They were about to become my family. And all of you spent months mocking me behind my back. Those messages were private. They were cruel. There is a difference. Silence fell between us, thick and heavy. The kind of silence where truth sits between two people like a third presence neither can ignore. My dad will not even get into the rental car with me, she said at last, her voice smaller now. He told me to arrange my own transportation. Then arrange it. Daniel, please, she said, frustration cracking through. Stop acting like you did not just blow up my entire family. Your family blew themselves up, I replied. I only turned on the lights. She hung up. For the next several hours, my phone vibrated relentlessly. Calls, voicemails, long texts that swung wildly between accusations and apologies. Margaret insisting there had been a misunderstanding. Chloe sending furious paragraphs about betrayal. Leonard demanding I explain myself immediately. I did not answer any of them. Around 8 that evening, Margaret texted again. Daniel, please, this has gone too far. We need to talk. I typed back. Agreed. Your daughter calling me a convenient roommate she shares finances with definitely went too far. Several minutes passed before she responded. Those messages were taken out of context. I stared at the screen. What context makes he is weak or not the kind of man I imagined acceptable, I wrote. No reply came. Then Leonard texted. You blindsided my daughter. That was low. You uninvited me from a trip I helped plan. Then spent months insulting me in a chat literally labeled family circle. I would say we are even. You are being childish. No, I replied. I am being honest. Maybe that feels unfamiliar. He did not respond again. At 10 that night, Alexandra called once more. This time I answered. Can we please talk like adults, she asked, voice rough, scraped raw. Go ahead. I am in a hotel room alone, she said. My parents will not speak to me. Chloe will not even look at me. You ruined everything. I did not ruin anything. I forwarded your own words. Those messages were not meant to be seen. Then you should not have written them. She exhaled sharply. Everyone vents, Daniel. Everyone says things they do not mean. For 9 months. Come on, that is not fair. You keep saying not fair, I said. But nothing about this has been fair. A long silence followed. I could hear faint air conditioning hum on her end. I do not know what to do, she whispered. Good. Why would you say that? Because you made me look like a joke to them. Now they know you did the same to them. What does that mean, she asked quietly. It means you did not just insult me. You insulted all of them too. That is not true. Check the screenshots, I interrupted. You complained about your mother controlling everything. Your father's temper. Your sister's lack of direction. You threw everyone under the bus. No, she breathed. They saw that. Yes. Another silence, deeper this time. You are cruel, she said finally. Maybe I answered. But at least I am honest. She ended the call. The rest of the week unfolded like watching a disaster from a distance. On Tuesday, she tried to join her family at the rental house. Leonard met her in the driveway and told her to go back to her hotel. On Wednesday, she texted me. The hotel is $400 a night. Can you help? No. On Thursday, she moved to a cheaper place across the island. She sent a photo of a cramped room with a narrow bed and a rattling fan. I am completely alone. I do not deserve this. I did not respond. On Friday, Leonard agreed to meet her for coffee. Afterward, she texted. He said he raised me better than this. He called me heartless. She did not mention what she said back. I did not ask. Saturday, Margaret sent me a long emotional email about family dynamics and misunderstandings. She apologized that I had seen the messages. Not that she had written them. I archived it without replying. Alexandra flew home on Sunday. Her parents and sister stayed in Maui for the rest of the week without her. They posted smiling photos online as if nothing had happened. Sunsets, cocktails, sea turtles. She sent me a screenshot of those photos with a single message. They replaced me. I replied, actions have consequences. When she finally walked through the apartment door that night, she looked different. Smaller somehow. Eyes red, shoulders slumped. As if the trip had drained something essential out of her. We need to talk, she said. Her voice sounded like sandpaper. Okay. She sat on the couch. I remained standing. I am sorry, she began. For what I said about you. For how I talked about you. It was wrong. I nodded once. Okay. That is it, she asked quietly. Just okay. What do you want me to say? You spent months humiliating me to your family. You excluded me from a trip we planned together. You made me feel disposable. An apology does not erase that. She swallowed hard. I am trying. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? That is not fair. You keep using that word, I said softly. But nothing about this has been fair. Her eyes filled with tears. Real ones. Not dramatic, not manipulative. I do not know how to fix this, she whispered. Maybe you cannot. So we are done. I do not know. But if we are going to continue, everything has to change. Completely. She nodded slowly, defeated. I will try. Trying is not enough. Either change or do not. She looked down at her hands. Okay. She did not come into the bedroom that night. I did not invite her. From the living room, I heard the soft rustle of blankets, the creak of the couch, footsteps at 2 in the morning. Every sound reminded me how different everything felt now. Comfort had been replaced by distance, familiarity by uncertainty. In the morning, the smell of coffee drifted into the bedroom. She had made some. Not for me specifically, just as part of a routine she was trying to rebuild. When I walked out, she was sitting at the table staring at her phone with hollow eyes. They are not speaking to me, she said without looking up. Your family. She gave a humorless laugh. Who else? I poured myself a cup without offering one to her. Once that small gesture had meant partnership. Now it would have felt like pretending. What did you expect? I asked. You said things about them too. She closed her eyes. I know. Silence stretched between us. Heavy but not hostile. We should talk about what happens next, she said finally. Such as, I do not want to break up. I studied her face. She looked older than she had a week ago, as if the illusion she lived inside had burned away. Then we start therapy, I said. Weekly. And you show me change instead of just promising it. She nodded immediately. Okay. Whatever it takes. I said nothing. I simply sipped my coffee and let the warmth steady me. Daniel, she added quietly, please do not leave me. I am not making promises. Her expression fell, but she nodded. The first therapy session was painfully awkward. She sat tense, knee bouncing, hands clenched. I sat upright, fingers interlocked. Our therapist, Dr. Bennett, studied us calmly. Tell me what brings you here. Alexandra spoke first. My family will not speak to me. It is deeper than that, I said. She flinched. Daniel, what do you see as the core issue? The therapist asked. I hesitated. The truth felt like thousands of small cuts finally visible. My partner allowed everyone around her to disrespect me. And she joined them. Alexandra's face crumpled. I did not think it mattered, she said weakly. It was just jokes. Jokes, I repeated. Venting. Whether you meant them or not. They show how you truly saw me. She opened her mouth, but the therapist raised a hand gently. Let him finish. I took a slow breath. She told her sister that sometimes she looks at me and feels nothing. That I am like a roommate she shares finances with. Alexandra buried her face in her hands. I know I am horrible. This is not about labels, I said. It is about trust. I do not know if I believe anything you say to my face anymore. Her shoulders shook silently. The therapist turned to her. What do you need to say to him? Her voice was thin. I did not mean all of it. Which part? She shook her head helplessly. I was trying to fit in, she whispered. My family complains about everyone. It is how they bond. I did not want to be the only one who did not play along. So you made me the target. Yes. The word hung in the room, raw and undeniable. The therapist allowed the silence to sit there, heavy but necessary, like pressure on a wound that needed to stop bleeding. Finally, she asked gently, Alexandra, what would rebuilding trust look like to you? Alexandra wiped her face with the back of her hand, eyes red, voice uneven. I will leave those chats, she said. All of them, not just the family one. I will stop talking about people behind their backs. I will stop using him as the safe joke. And what else? The therapist prompted. Alexandra looked at me properly then, not defensively, not performatively, just looking. I will listen, she whispered. The next weeks moved in fragments rather than a smooth timeline. Her family stayed silent. Completely. Leonard sent one short message. I need time. Margaret called once, speaking in careful circles about perspective and healing, then abruptly ended the call when Alexandra said she was not ready to pretend everything was fine. Chloe never unblocked her. Alexandra became quieter, more deliberate. She stopped making sarcastic remarks about strangers, co-workers, anyone. She did not roll her eyes when I spoke. She did not interrupt or dismiss. She watched her words as if each one might detonate. One evening while we sat on opposite ends of the couch, she opened her phone and left 3 different group chats in front of me without saying a word. I did not realize how toxic it was, she said finally. It felt normal because everyone did it. Believing her sincerity was easy. Believing it would last was harder. Some nights almost felt normal again. Cooking side by side, watching a show, our knees touching accidentally on the couch. Then a sentence from those screenshots would flash in my mind. Sometimes I look at him and feel nothing. It felt like pressing on a bruise that had not healed. 3 weeks after the trip disaster, I caught her watching me in the bathroom mirror while I brushed my teeth. Her expression was soft, uncertain, almost hopeful. What? I asked. Nothing, she said quickly. Then more quietly, you look like someone I do not deserve. I did not know how to respond, so I said nothing. 6 weeks after everything collapsed, during therapy, Dr. Bennett asked a question that felt like it split something open inside me. Daniel, do you feel things are improving? Yes, I answered honestly, but I am not sure improvement is enough. Alexandra looked as if the floor had dropped beneath her, but she stayed silent. I am stronger now than I was before, I continued. I am not desperate to keep peace at any cost. I see things clearly now. and I cannot unsee them. Alexandra lowered her head, tears sliding down her face silently. Dr. Bennett turned to her. And what do you feel? That I am scared, she whispered. Scared I destroyed something I cannot rebuild. Scared the trust is gone forever. Scared he is already halfway out the door. I studied her face. She was not entirely wrong, but not entirely right either. I have not decided anything, I said quietly. She nodded, crying openly now. I know, and I am trying. I swear I am trying. For the first time I believed that she meant it. But effort is not a guarantee. Some fractures heal. Others never do. We existed somewhere between those possibilities. 6 weeks can feel like nothing or like an entire lifetime. For us it felt like both. We still lived together. Still shared groceries, routines, space. Old habits do not vanish simply because trust does. On a quiet Wednesday evening, Alexandra came home carrying a white paper bag from our favorite Thai restaurant. She did not make a dramatic speech. She did not beg. She simply placed the bag on the table and said softly, I thought you might want dinner. That was the new version of her. Careful, measured, gentle in ways she had never needed to be before. We ate mostly in silence until she said, My dad emailed me. I looked up. What did he say? She swallowed. He said you were right to send the screenshots, and that he is sorry for how they treated you, and for how he raised me to think complaining is bonding. I blinked slowly. Can I see it? She slid her phone across the table. The email was shockingly brief. Alexandra, Daniel was right to send those messages. I am sorry for how we treated him. I need time to process everything. Dad. For lines. No excuses. No defensiveness. Just acknowledgement. He regrets it, she said quietly. And he regrets what he taught me. That matters, I said. She nodded. But I know it does not fix anything. Margaret still has not reached out, she added. Not surprising. And Chloe. She gave a hollow laugh. Still blocked everywhere. Maybe that is for the best, I said. Our eyes met briefly. Maybe she agreed softly. Later that night we stood at the sink together, rinsing dishes. She dried them carefully, stacking them with unusual precision. I left all those chats, she said suddenly. Even the ones with old friends. Why? Because they made me feel clever when I was actually just being cruel. She hesitated. I do not want to be that person anymore. She was doing the work. But rebuilding trust is not the same as attempting it. I turned off the water and faced her. When you wrote those things about me, did you mean them? Her breath hitched. She gripped the dish towel like it was something solid in a storm. Yes, she whispered. And no, that is not an answer. I know. She closed her eyes. I did not mean them the way they sounded. But I said what I thought would make my family approve of me. So humiliating me was the price of their approval. Yes. She opened her eyes, shame written plainly across her face. And that is what I am most ashamed of. Something twisted painfully in my chest. Grief, anger, exhaustion. If you can talk about me like that to fit in, I said. What happens next time someone expects the same thing? She stepped closer but stopped short of touching me. That is why I am in therapy, she said. So I do not do that again. So I stop being that person. Her voice cracked. Daniel, I am changing. I promise. I see that, I said quietly. I really do. But, she barely breathed. But I do not know if it is enough. She nodded slowly. She did not argue. That acceptance hurt almost more than denial would have. A week later in therapy, Dr. Bennett asked another devastating question. Daniel, what would forgiveness look like for you? I stared at the carpet for a long time. Forgiveness is not a switch, I said finally. It is not a decision you make once. It is something that happens slowly, if it happens at all. And even then, it does not erase what was said. Alexandra wiped her eyes silently. Dr. Bennett turned to her. What do you hear him saying? That he is trying, she whispered. But he is still hurt. And he has every right to be. And it is not his job to comfort me. Something softened in my chest. Not trust. Not yet. But respect. Trust must be earned, Dr. Bennett said gently. Not demanded. Alexandra nodded. Daniel, she continued. What are you afraid of? I met Alexandra's eyes. I am afraid I will stay out of habit. Not because I truly believe things will be better. She inhaled sharply as if the words struck physically. I do not want that either, she said quietly. If you stay, I want it to be because you want to, not because it is easier. After therapy, we walked home together in silence. The air smelled like rain. Halfway down the block, she said, I miss you. Not this careful version. The way we used to be. I studied her face. I miss that too, I admitted. Hope flickered in her eyes. Does that mean we are okay? I shook my head gently. No, it means we are trying. At the crosswalk, she stepped aside to let a couple with a stroller pass. For a moment, she looked like the woman I had fallen in love with years ago. You are different now, I said. She froze. In a bad way. In a real way. You are not hiding anymore. Not behind your family. Not behind sarcasm. She nodded slowly. And you, she said. You are stronger now. I had to be. A long pause. Do you think we can go back to what we were? I considered it carefully. No, we cannot go back. But maybe we can build something new. Something honest. Her eyes softened. I would like that, she said. So would I. We walked the rest of the way home without speaking. Nothing was fixed. Nothing was healed. But something was open. And sometimes open is enough for now. I was no longer the man who tolerated quiet disrespect because confrontation felt uncomfortable. I was not the version of myself who tried to earn a place in someone else's family by shrinking. That version of me was gone. The new version did not ignore warning signs, did not make himself smaller to be acceptable, did not need permission to leave, or to stay. And Alexandra, she was not the same woman either. Maybe that was the only reason there was still anything left between us at all. 8 weeks after everything fell apart, the apartment no longer felt like a battlefield, but it did not feel like home either. More like neutral territory where two people were carefully learning how not to hurt each other. We moved around one another with quiet awareness. Not cold, not warm, just cautious. One Friday evening, Alexandra came home later than usual. Her eyes were swollen. Makeup smudged as if she had wiped it away and tried to reapply it in a hurry. My mother called, she said softly. I set my book down. And she wants to meet you. I studied her expression carefully. Does she want to apologize? Alexandra hesitated. She said she wants to talk. That was not the same thing. We met Margaret the following Sunday at a quiet cafe near the lake. She looked older than I remembered. Posture slightly stooped, confidence dulled. Daniel, she said, folding her hands tightly on the table. I owe you an apology. I waited. What we said about you was cruel and unjustified. She glanced at Alexandra, then back at me. You did not deserve that. Hearing it spoken aloud felt surreal, like something heavy finally being acknowledged instead of ignored. Thank you, I said. She exhaled shakily. We did not realize how toxic our conversations had become. We thought it was normal. It was normal for you, I replied quietly. Not for me. She nodded, eyes glistening. I understand that now. Leonard sent his apologies as well, she added. He is not good at saying those things in person. That sounded exactly like him. Chloe still refused to meet. Some wounds take longer than others. After the cafe, Alexandra and I walked along the water in silence. You do not have to forgive them, she said suddenly. Or me. I know. I just want you to choose what is right for you. Her voice trembled, but she did not cry. That was new too. Over the next weeks, small changes accumulated. Margaret sent occasional polite messages. Leonard kept his distance but stopped being hostile. Chloe remained absent. Alexandra continued therapy even on weeks when I could not attend. She became more open, more honest, sometimes painfully so. One night she admitted something that startled me. "I used to think stability was boring," she said quietly while we lay on opposite sides of the bed. "Now I realize stability is something people destroy when they do not value it." I did not respond, but I heard her. 3 months after the disaster, we attended a friend's wedding together. The first big social event since everything happened. At the reception, she reached for my hand tentatively, as if unsure whether she still had the right. I did not pull away. We danced. Awkward at first, then easier. Not like before. Different. More deliberate. More honest. Later that night, on the balcony overlooking the city lights, she said, "If you decide you cannot stay, I will understand." The words cost her something. I could hear it. I turned to face her. "I am still here. For now." She nodded, tears shining in her eyes but not falling. "That is enough," she whispered. And it was. Not a fairy tale reconciliation. Not a dramatic ending. Just two imperfect people standing in the aftermath of something broken, deciding day by day whether to rebuild or walk away. Trust did not return all at once. Came in small moments. Honest answers. Uncomfortable conversations. Respect where there had once been dismissal. Some nights I still remembered those messages. The words that had cut deeper than she ever intended. But I also saw the effort. The accountability, the absence of excuses. One evening months later, I caught her deleting an unsent message on her phone. "What was that?" I asked. She hesitated. "I was about to complain about a coworker." Then I realized I did not want to be that person anymore. She put the phone down. Growth is quiet most of the time. Not dramatic. Not cinematic. Just a series of small choices made differently than before. Spring arrived. The city softened. Windows opened. Light lingered longer in the evenings. One Sunday morning, while we made breakfast together, she said, "If we survive this, we will either be stronger than ever, or we will know we tried honestly." I looked at her, really looked, at the woman she had been, at the woman she was trying to become. Maybe that was the real turning point. Not forgiveness. Not forgetting, but clarity. I no longer stayed because it was easier. I stayed because I chose to, and she no longer assumed I would stay. She earned that choice day by day. Some stories end with grand gestures. Ours ended with something quieter. 2 people at a kitchen counter. Coffee steaming between us. Sunlight spilling across the floor. Not healed. Not broken. Just real. And sometimes real is the strongest thing love can be. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Visit our channel for interesting and intriguing stories.